Good morning, everyone. I think we can get started now. So, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I'm Timothea, and I'm the co-founder of FORE Protocol. Joining me today are my fellow co-founders, Merv and Andreas, and we're really glad that you can join us today for an AMA. After an insanely busy week in Dubai last week for the three of us, we are back in our respective corners of the globe again, and we're getting ready for our biggest milestone to date, which is, as many of you will be aware, the launch of our flagship solution FORE Predict. It's been an incredible ride so far since TGE back in June now, but really we're just getting started. And with FORE Predict less than a week away, and with that full utility for your FORE tokens, we wanted to take this as an opportunity to touch base with you all, share with you our plans for this huge milestone and beyond, and answer your questions. So we'll kick off first and then save community questions for the end. So firstly, thank you all so much for your questions. There were some kind of 1,000-odd tweets across different posts. So we have chosen some of the top questions, but feel free to ask your questions in the live chat here as well. We'll try to get to those too. So firstly, the first iteration of what we've been working on for more than 2 years, going live to the public next week. I'd love if we can take a moment to really step back and start off with the broader FORE vision, what we're building, but why we're building it. So, Merv, I think you'd be great to kick that off.
Like Timothea mentioned, it's great to see over 1,000 listeners in this space session, and really just to see how the community has kind of grown over the last several months. And how the team has kind of evolved and grown over the last years, to bring FORE Predict to you all, but also to kind of think about the future here and what it is that we want to be building. So I recognize that some people here on the call are going to be familiar with FORE Protocol and FORE Predict, and others this will be new. And for a second, I think I'd like to speak to those of you who are not familiar with FORE. And basically to bring you all up to speed in terms of kind of what it is that the team has set as its mission on behalf of the community, and kind of next steps from here. So FORE Predict is a peer-to-peer predictions platform, and it's very unique in a few different ways. So one is it allows users to create their own user-generated prediction markets, and then to drive participation in those. The more participation that you have in your markets, the more rewards that you earn. It allows users to participate in markets that you created, or really that anyone has created, and so it's very community kind of driven in that way. And then the last piece is really around the validation of these prediction markets, and we created an ecosystem that provides many earning opportunities for users in the Web3 space, and people who are passionate about prediction markets overall. But before we talk about prediction markets, I think it's important to kind of understand the why behind the FORE Protocol mission, and what it is that we're trying to achieve here. And the best way I can explain the FORE Protocol mission is it's really decentralizing legacy industries that maybe have been predatory toward users in the past. And so our vision is to look at these large markets, and for example, predictions are a good example of this, where there are large centralized entities that are almost designed to take advantage of participants in in the overall ecosystem. And so rather than continue with that centralized type of structure, the idea and general mission behind FORE is to use and leverage smart contract technology to essentially disaggregate those centralized entities and to create lots of earning opportunities for the community at large. And our first protocol and our first product that we've built and will be launching on November 30th, which Timothea had mentioned, is intended to be the first step in achieving that goal. So we've been building with the community as a whole for some time now, and we've tried to drive as much participation and involvement in a decentralized way, and that will continue. Um, at November 30th and beyond. But really, our overall objective is to continue to be bringing products like this to market that are creating opportunities for the decentralized community, essentially to be earning rewards, for their activity, as opposed to being active on a platform that is frankly predatory towards them. So FORE Predict, as I mentioned, November 30th will be live. You can look at the token, the ERC20 token, which basically underpins all of the activity on the platform. It's called the FORE token, FORE. You can find that on MEXC if you're looking at centralized exchanges, and on Uniswap if you're more active on the decentralized side. But really, this is your opportunity, I think, to get involved. Early the week before mainnet actually launches, and before there's really kind of a rush to to get involved and to participate. So definitely want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to participate, and generally gets a sense of kind of what it is that we're building here. So Timothy, I'll hand it back to you, but I hope that gives an overview in terms of what it is that we're looking to build, and also kind of the key milestones as we see it over the course of the next week.
Yeah, that was a great explanation, Merv. And I also just want to touch on really where you focused on the additional solutions beyond prediction markets, because this for me is really why I find competitor comparisons potentially a little redundant at times, because they're important, of course, to understand how FORE is positioned within the prediction space and can provide value versus other platforms. But no prediction market or DeFi betting platform, as we are sometimes compared to, is really setting their goals or targets as high, or even trying to disrupt this industry at all. Many of them are simply just replicating centralized entities, but building on the blockchain. And really beyond that, I think no one in that specific space is really actively trying to build and innovate beyond predictions in the same way that FORE is, to harness and reward users, the wisdom of the crowd, in order to lay the groundwork for new solutions that can disrupt any number of industries. So with that in mind, of course, the future is beyond predictions, but FORE Predict is the springboard for so many of these solutions. And as we've touched on, we'll be launching next Thursday, which is a huge milestone for us. So from November 30th, we'd love to share with you how FORE can bring value to its users, to this community, and to everyone listening. So Andres, if you want to jump in on that.
Yeah, thanks, Timothy. Thanks for that, and good evening and good day, everyone. I think we've said it enough. Next Thursday, mainnet is coming live, and for those of you who were lucky enough, and thank you for being a part of the testnet, you will have a better sense of what to expect. But just as Merv did, sort of speak to you, some of you who are new to the community and who haven't had a chance to see what is coming in less than a week's time. I'd just like to run through the main functionality of the platform. And so, as Merv alluded to earlier, you're really met with ultimately three choices in the beginning. And on the one side, you'll have a creator option, which will be a very simple way for a user to create any kind of market on any event and determine the market odds in at the onset. And let's not forget that every market creator will earn up to 0.5% of each total market size. So a way to be rewarded for your activity on the creator side. For participants, you'll be able to participate in fair markets, and also participate for much lower fees than traditional Web2 betting platforms and other options out there. And then, of course, with our proprietary NFT validation system, this is a very unique part of the predictions platform, and this is where validators can earn up to 2% of every market. And I know Timothy is going to remind everyone that for the NFTs, we have a 45-day fast track program where you can level up the NFTs 6 times faster for onboarding and becoming a validator from the get-go. And then obviously we'll have the NFT marketplace, which will be live, where users can essentially trade there and buy and sell NFTs from others. And then our beloved portfolio page, which will show the profit and loss, foreign markets, where your NFTs are, and just generally all the information that you need as your sort of center of data for your activity on the platform. And so really those are the key features around what to expect next Thursday. And we're really excited for you guys to finally get to see what we've been sweating over for the better half of 2 years now.
Great. So Merv, unless there's anything else you wanted to jump in on product.
Yeah, I mean, I think just to jump in and take a step back a little bit from functionality and really kind of think about again what we're focused on building here, and for the new participants in the ecosystem. Essentially, what you have in FORE Predict is it's a decentralized prediction market that replaces a centralized entity with the community, right? And a lot of the functionality and things that Andreas just described are really aimed toward achieving that goal, right? So instead of having a centralized entity, call it maybe a casino or maybe a bookmaker in traditional markets, basically creating the market for a certain number of events and then trying to galvanize participation in those markets. Here, what we're doing is we've actually flipped that on its head, right? So you guys actually have the opportunity to create the markets in whatever it is that you're interested in, right? So gone are the days where cricket is not available on maybe a certain casino or application. And well, now not only can you make that market, but you can actually earn rewards from creating that market, right? And maybe if there's a large cricket match and that's taking place over the course of several days, well, now you actually have a reason to participate and watch that and actually get your friends involved and actually earn rewards for that. So it's a really unique take, we think, on the predictions market overall. But the key thing to remember here is FORE Predict is really just one of many parts of FORE protocol. And overall and over time, our intention is to continue to be building out these solutions and be looking beyond predictions markets. And obviously, we can't share exactly what those markets will be. But the way we see it now is this is your opportunity, really as a community. And a lot of the people who have been involved really from day one to participate before FORE Predict is live. And like I mentioned, the FORE token is available on MEXC for centralized traders, and for people who are more active on the decentralized side, we have a pool on Uniswap. So definitely take a look at our website, and if it's something of interest in terms of participation on this platform before November 30th, definitely take a look at getting involved in the token prior to that. And again, it's FORE USDT is the pair. So I just wanted to provide a little bit more context and then provide users, the exact path and in terms of how to get involved. So back over to you, Timothy.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on the centralization element that you just mentioned, Merv. And I think this is an important point to reiterate, given that a lot of people in the space are going to be familiar with the downsides of centralization. It's in the prediction space, it's not too dissimilar to centralization in the crypto space. Prediction's more heavily regulated, so we're not going to see an FTX of the casino world, for example. But really, the objectives of centralized entities remain largely the same. Get users in the door by any means possible, extract as much value from them as they can, and then hold on to your funds for as long as possible. And for us, this is why taking a position on an outcome is not inherently bad, but what is exploitative and creates such negativity around the prediction space is the incentive structures that these centralized entities employ to ensure the house always wins. And despite that, we still see people wanting to take positions on the outcomes of events. So despite a recession, the total prediction market right now, this year reached 500 billion. And we see a huge opportunity here to disrupt an industry that, one, has seen very little innovation over the last few years, and most critically has built its success on the exploitation of its users, on all of you. So we wanted to change that, and that for us is why we're so excited for the launch of FORE Predict, because this is the first step in shifting the power away from these large centralized entities and create an opportunity for all participants not only to take part but to actually share in the rewards of this $500 billion industry. And so, not only do you hold the power on FORE Predict, but you also retain ownership of your assets and are rewarded for your productive activity, not just charged for the privilege of using it like other platforms do. So, really, I'm so excited for the 30th, because this is when a global people-powered ecosystem will finally be live, where people have the freedom to create markets on any event, participate in markets against other users, not a house that wants them to lose, and validate markets on any event, and all are rewarded for doing so through the redistribution of platform fees.
I think that's really well said, Timothea. That's very well said. Nothing to add on that.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll jump on to the next point now that we've kind of jumped through what you guys can expect from launch. I will take some time to talk through, and we can all kind of jump in here, but what's next from a product, partnership, and promotional level. I'll kick off with promotional first with my marketing hat on, and I'm also just super excited for the next week. We have two of our largest awareness campaigns to date going live, and I don't want to ruin the surprise, but so excited, because these campaigns have the opportunity for millions of eyeballs each day, and as a marketer by trade, one of them in particular feels like a pretty big milestone that not many projects in this space really achieve. So really excited to share that with you, and for many of you to discover it naturally as well. So there'll be more information on that next week. But beyond next week and beyond launch, we will continue to announce and work on more real world sponsorships. So people familiar with FORE will have seen that we recently sponsored the Sydney Millions Poker Series, which we found was a really great opportunity to tap into high net worth individuals that can use their skill sets, in games of skill, and be able to take that to prediction markets. But we'll be expanding this sponsorship strategy, targeting different sectors. And now with FORE Predict being live, we're going to be able to actually create markets and tournaments around different sponsorships, whether that's sports or other areas as well. KOLs and influencers is also a topic that comes up in any community, and naturally this is part of our strategy as well. For us, though, it's a much deeper approach than wanting someone to simply talk about FORE token in a video. We want anyone who partners with us to be to do so on a very deep level, and to KOLs in particular to be creating and sharing markets on FORE. So we were fortunate enough to meet with some of the biggest kind of influencers in the space while we were in Dubai, and we're working on a top-down strategy from there. So I'm really excited to see that come to fruition. And I think an important note as well, to ensure sufficient liquidity of these markets, is we're taking a sector-specific approach, and initially targeting crypto, sports, and political audiences, and thus those will be the main markets on FORE initially to start with, targeted ads driving users to relevant markets and pages. But of course, you can find or create any market on FORE. The reason that we're taking this strategy is because perhaps those familiar with other DeFi prediction markets that have come before, Augur, for example, that kind of paved the way, failed to gain adoption in the space because I think people struggled to understand the concept of a truly limitless predictions platform where people can create markets on anything. And naturally, there are people who fit into certain prediction categories. People are active in sports or crypto or kind of political events. So by targeting, by taking a sector-specific approach and adding new sectors over time, we'll be able to ensure that people can come to the platform and find markets on the subjects that they want, but with sufficient liquidity in order to participate as well. So on the subject of liquidity, I'll jump into partnerships quickly, kind of kicking off with listings. So post mainnet launch, we really want to increase the accessibility of the FORE token to enable users to participate. And this requires deeper liquidity on existing exchanges as well as new ones. So we have taken feedback on, well, we have been increasing existing liquidity and will be continuing to do so. And our priority in the not too distant future is additional listings, although we can't share too much on that yet. Beyond listings themselves as well, from a partnership perspective, we have integrations with partners that we've already announced going live, including UMA's Optimistic Oracle for on-chain market dispute resolution, and PAL AI, an integration to create the first AI-powered predictions platform. So for any newcomers here who are unfamiliar with that partnership so far, this will essentially allow you to find out about any market all within the market page. So if you're going on to FORE to participate in a market on the price of a certain crypto asset, you'd be able to find out that price or the 70-day, or the 30-day kind of price history of that asset all within the ecosystem. So for us, this is a great opportunity within a people-powered platform to help empower people to make more informed decisions and predictions. And finally, I'll jump into what's next from a product perspective, although just keep it top line because there's so much to come in the way of that. Obviously, while we are incredibly excited about the launch of FORE Predict next week, it is the first iteration of the platform. And we've always maintained that the development of FORE Predict is going to be an iterative process because we are under no illusion that we have thought of every single feature that we could possibly build and that we are the right people to determine exactly what those features are. This is a people-powered platform, and we want to be building alongside you guys and build ultimately the predictions platform that you want. So we already followed that process for some of you who were here from our testnet days. A lot of the new features that we have integrated, well, all of the new features that we have integrated really have been based on user feedback so far. And that process will absolutely continue through launch and beyond, whether it be new partnerships or new platform features. An important one I want to touch on, which I'm personally really excited about, as this is the first people-powered platform where users are rewarded for creating, participating in, and validating markets. The logic behind this model was to create a self-sustaining ecosystem where users are incentivized to help grow the platform. So to us, it makes sense to take this one step further by launching a decentralized referral scheme. This will be going live shortly after launch, and this gives you an opportunity to not only earn through the traditional methods on the platform, creating markets, participating in markets, and validating markets, but you also have the ability to earn a percentage of the markets that your friends or your family or anyone via your link participates in, as well as a percentage of the NFTs that they mint. So through this activity, you'll be able to accrue FORE as rewards, even if you're not participating in the ecosystem yourself. And we plan to develop this further by adding additional discounts and benefits depending on the activity. Also important to note that these rewards are coming from protocol activities, so FORE continues to remain strictly deflationary. And this is something that we will continue to focus on while we are building a people-powered ecosystem that is built to incentivize your activity. We will always be striking that balance between ensuring that that will never tip into any form of kind of inflationary model. FORE has a deflationary mechanism built into the platform itself, and that will continue throughout. So another key priority for us as well, and really for accessibility of the platform, is a fiat on-ramp integration. So this will allow users to enter FORE's ecosystem via credit card, debit card, Apple Pay, etc. So we're currently in talks with several. Okay.
Just continue, Timothea, please.
Yeah, I was just removing from a speaker. So we're currently in talks with several partners in order to get the lowest fees for users. Again, we're always trying to ensure that users will be able to maximize their return on the platform by keeping protocol fees low, gas fees low, and any other fees that come through third parties as well. So there are also a ton of other developments in the pipeline, USD denomination of markets, chain integrations, new market structures, but we'll share all of this in a more detailed, updated development roadmap post-launch, because I think we wouldn't be doing it justice otherwise by just kind of touching on these, because there's so much to come. So with that in mind, I think unless there's anything else, Andres or Merv, you'd like to add, I think we can jump into the community questions.
No, I think just to wrap things up, overall, it's been a long time, coming for the development of FORE Predict. But the main takeaway here is it's really just the beginning, and our objective has always been and will always continue to be building the best platform possible with you all, right? And so that's the kind of the key thing that I think we all need to underscore here is this is a decentralized, community-driven, project. And so what we want to do is make sure that you all are active and participating, in order to kind of facilitate that future vision. So that's really that's the main takeaway here. But to wrap things up before we get into your questions, which actually I'm really excited about, there were some amazing questions there. Just a friendly reminder: if any of this sounds kind of interesting or is kind of piquing your interest in the predictions market space or in the digital asset space overall, definitely check out our token. It's FORE and USDT is the pair. You can find that on, again, Uniswap or MEXC. Highly recommend that you all take a look at that before the mainnet launch on November 30th. So with that, I think, Timothea, we can probably get started with some questions.
Awesome. Yeah, there were some great questions. I think this is a good one to kick off because I've seen it a lot throughout the community, which is, can you tell us more about how Dubai went? Building a presence at industry events and conferences is important for establishing FORE as a leading project in the space. Do you plan to attend any other events? Merv, I think probably best if you kick off that one, given that you are attending another event next week. So maybe you can touch on that.
Yeah, sure. Overall, I think the mission at this stage is to not only continue to build upon the technology side of FORE protocol and FORE Predict, but it's also to represent the community around the world in relevant situations. So I think as part of that, we the three co-founders traveled to Dubai. We had a very productive time, both attending conferences and meetings with a variety of types of personalities and personnel in the Web3 industry, everything from large influencers and KOLs, large venture firms, and also partners, exchanges, other projects and other founders, other teams. So really what we're trying to do is make sure that the FORE ecosystem is as interoperable as possible, and making sure that we as as the tip of the spear, so to speak, for the FORE community, are taking the feedback from the community and going and trying to implement those next steps and draw up some of those discussions and conversations. Overall, I would say it was an incredibly productive week, and some of the updates that Timothea has kind of alluded to, have been and will continue to kind of come out of certain meetings and arrangements like this. So yeah, the overall objective is to continue to strike as many of these different types of partnerships and arrangements that really benefit the overall community. So we're going to try to do as much of that as possible. And a big part of that, as Timothea mentioned, I'll be back on the road to try to facilitate some of these meetings and discussions next week. And there probably will be some more of that, for the team overall. But yeah, Timothy, I'll hand it back to you in case you have anything else to add on that point specifically.
No, just reiterate really what you said, and the value of these events. Ultimately, they're the meeting of minds of leaders across the industry, and I felt really kind of invigorated being able to have discussions around not just what tomorrow looks like for FORE, but really the future of FORE. So yeah, there's a lot that will come out of that week, some of which we've alluded to, but that's just one event of many planned. So yeah, that's absolutely a kind of core part of our strategy. So we'll continue there. So the next question, which again I thought was a great question, although there's kind of several in one, is how will you drive activity on FORE Predict? What is the strategy for onboarding users both within the DeFi space and non-crypto? DeFi predictions is not a huge space, but the larger betting space is very crowded. How do you plan to achieve cut-through in this market? So I'll kick off on that one, and there's probably too much to say on this question than we have time for, but really, to put it simply, we are taking a blue ocean strategy, which is really creating and capturing uncontested market space through innovation and value. The larger betting space is very crowded because there's no innovation to put one above the rest, and so they're competing by offering sign-up bonuses that users jump between, and rarely are they retained as long-term users. The same can really be said for DeFi betting markets, because they're not adding any additional value and very little innovation beyond centralized entities, other than simply mirroring those operations but on the blockchain. So what we're building is the first decentralized predictions ecosystem, which allows users to, as I said earlier, capture market share of a $500 billion industry. We're offering users the opportunity for the first time to not only find markets on any event, but create and validate them and earn rewards in an entirely new way. And I've mentioned previously some of the user acquisition activity, including awareness campaigns, highly targeted conversion activity, and simplifying the actual onboarding process for conversion. But really, all of that is redundant if there's no reason for someone to stay. And with FORE, what I believe we've truly built a solution with staying power because of the value opportunities that we create for users, regardless of their risk profile and regardless of their interest. So that, for me, is really how we plan to achieve cut through in this market, by building something that's completely different and provides far more value to users than any alternative in the space.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. And the other way, just to tack on to that, the other way we kind of think about that is, what part of the funnel are we talking about, right? So there's the kind of front end part of the funnel, which is what does your product do? What type of functionality do we have? And what type of staying power does that functionality have? Then there's a little bit further down the funnel, which is how do you get the message out on that functionality to as many people as possible in order to have them convert, right? So Timothy had touched on the first point in terms of the product and functionality. The second piece is equally important in terms of how we get the messaging out. And for that, Timothy has alluded to some of these things, but there's really a multi-pronged kind of strategy for that. So one is building with the community, right? So many entrepreneurs, especially in this space, they build in a vacuum, right? They basically say, you know what, I know what's best, and I'm going to build what I know is best. But no one person or no team has the solutions to everything. So rather than approaching it that way, we think it makes a lot more sense to build with the community, right? So releasing features early, right? Getting your feedback on them, even if that means that it's imperfect. We'd rather release something early and imperfect and get your thoughts on them, and then from there we can incorporate exactly what you want, than us go off for 6 months and try to build a feature that we think is what everyone wants, and it's not. So the second piece, in terms of the general how we get users to participate, a big part of it is actually getting their eyes and hands on the platform as early and often as possible. So that's one additional point. And secondly, which Timothea has also mentioned, exploring other traditional marketing avenues, things like KOLs, right, display ads, making sure that our documentation and our website and everything is as robust as possible, so that as people are encountering FORE protocol and FORE Predict specifically, they have a higher likelihood of conversion. So it's a combination between making sure that we have the best product possible and the best features, but then also making sure that we're getting the message out on FORE Predict and FORE protocol to as many relevant people as possible. So those are kind of the two additional points that I just wanted to add there. And also, hello to everyone who's excitingly saying hello on the chat. So I really appreciate you guys being here, and thank you for the time to join. Timothy, I'll hand it back to you now that I've made those two additional points.
Yeah, also adding to that, and I guess reiterating what I said earlier, and also kind of touching on what you just said, Merv, is the reason why other DeFi prediction markets in the space have not necessarily carved out, really significant adoption, is because they haven't taken a targeted approach to marketing and to onboarding users. They've simply said, here you go, you can create anything, and haven't really cut through to find specific users that would appeal to, that different markets would appeal to. So that's certainly going to be our approach going forward, is identifying the where the users coexist as sports bettors, for example, and people who are within the crypto space, or kind of political pundits, or people who are interested in any range of markets, and then being able to serve them markets and ads that they can relate to and understand and want to participate in. So just thought I would add that in terms of the targeting itself. So another question that we got was, how can I make the most out of FORE Predict to earn maximum rewards? So Andres, do you want to jump in on this one?
Yeah, happy to do so. I think I touched on it earlier, but one of the main ways that you can earn rewards is by being a creator. And every creator earns 0.5% of the total market size. And so the incentive there is to really go out and promote your own market and get as many people to participate in that market as possible. And another way that you can maximize your rewards is also to then validate the outcome of that market by first minting a validator NFT, and then using that validator NFT to vote on the correct side of the correct outcome. And I think the combination of being able to create and being able to validate markets without even participating or making a prediction is what's really powerful about this ecosystem, is that you're able to earn rewards without really participating in any kind of prediction. Not sure, Timothy or Merv, if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I would just add that part of the reasons that we brought these additional roles in is, one, the creators and the validators make up the protocol architecture. So every participant on the platform is really important. The creators make sure that when someone comes to FORE and wants to find a market on a specific event, that there is sufficient markets to suit their needs, and the validators will ensure that these markets are closed, validated, and the payouts are swiftly executed, so participants can have an enjoyable experience and be able to be rewarded in a timely manner as well. So really, those two roles, the reason why they're rewarded for their activity is because they are a critical part of the system and ensuring it operates in a self-sustaining way. I will reiterate as well what Andres mentioned earlier, that from next Thursday, we will have a kind of fast track program live for validators. So typically, and I don't think we've touched on the tier structure of the validators yet, which I won't go into too much detail on, but essentially we've built an NFT validation model that allows users to accrue value within an NFT through validations. And of course, these are through accurate validations, and any inaccurate validations are penalized, and eventually you will lose that NFT. But through consecutive validations and compounding your rewards into your NFT, you can level up the tier of your NFT, and you'll be able to earn a increased multiplier, which means that every additional validation that you make, you'll be able to earn more rewards. Typically, the number of validations to reach the highest earning tier would be 150 validations. But for the first 45 days after mainnet launch, we've reduced that to 25. So it means you'll be able to achieve that highest earning potential, or highest reward multiplier far quicker. And this is something that really will give you a head start, and we wanted to reward early adopters essentially by giving you this opportunity to level up your NFT within that time.
So in other words, everyone, make sure that you get involved early. Make sure that you head to MEXC and Uniswap to check out the FORE token. Again, the pair is FORE USDT. And this is really kind of the opportunity to get involved before mainnet launch and to get involved early. So the FORE token is the ERC20 token that underpins all of the activity on FORE Predict. So if you'd like to create a market, if you'd like to mint a validator NFT, you'll need FORE to do so. So definitely head over to MEXC and Uniswap and everywhere else so you get your crypto prices and news, just to make sure that you don't miss the opportunity. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knew exactly where to go for that.
Cool, great question. So I'll jump into the next question that we've already chosen, and I've already been taking a look through the chat. There are some great questions that have been submitted as we've been live, so continue to do so, and we'll be choosing those in a couple of minutes. So the final question that was pre-selected was, how can we help spread the word about FORE? Is there any ambassador program? So there's several ways in which you can help scale the FORE ecosystem. One, of course, is participating on FORE Predict, creating markets, sharing markets, validating markets. As I mentioned, those roles really underpin become the architects of our infrastructure. So that's absolutely a way in which you can participate and help FORE. Beyond that, as I touched on, the FORE referral program, I think this is a really important part of any decentralized platform, is being able to incentivize users for their network, for the people that they are sharing the markets and sharing, helping onboard onto our platform. So there's really multiple levels of earning there. One is creating a market, and then two, through your referral system, sharing that market to other people to participate in, and that's it's a win. It creates a win-win-win for everyone involved. Us as FORE, we benefit from additional users onto the platform. You as a participant or as a creator, you benefit from a percentage not only of the market itself, but of your referees activity on the platform. And then the referee also receives a discounted entry into the platform. So again, everything that we do and create is always viewed via the lens of, how do we add value? How can we incentivize productive activity in a way that makes sense and can help grow this ecosystem in a sustainable way? There is also an ambassador program. To touch on the final part of that question, you can become a FOREfluencer. It was a program we just launched earlier this week. So if you want to head to any of our social channels, just drop a hashtag FOREfluencer, and we'll be able to send you all of the relevant information there. That I think is important for any Web3 project, is, and really it's an extension of our value system at FORE in general. Is we understand the value of the crowd. We understand that the different ways in which you can provide value on the platform and outside of the platform. So the FOREfluencer program is an extension of that. Our active community members who we're super grateful for talking about FORE and sharing links and sharing information can also be rewarded through through that program. So those are 3 core ways. I will jump into the tweets or the questions that have been submitted while we've been live, unless there are any other points to raise from Andreas or Merv.
Nothing here. Ready
all
for
good.
some more
Thanks,
questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. So one question I've just seen is, and this is a great one because we actually haven't touched on this really, is it caught my attention that the FORE supply reduces with every single market and NFT minted. Are you the first platform to implement this kind of mechanism to their own token? So I'll open that up to Merv or Andres to jump in on first.
Okay, I'll take a crack at that. To my knowledge, I think the answer to that question is yes. But before we get into the response, let's just take a step back and describe kind of what's being mentioned here. So one of the unique aspects about FORE protocol as a whole is the deflationary tokenomics. And what I mean by that is whereas a lot of other Web3 and digital asset projects are inflationary, meaning that new tokens are minted in order to fund the rewards of the ecosystem. You can think of a traditional staking, type of structure, or algorithmic stable coins would be another example of this. But the point is that new supply is created in order to fund the rewards of the ecosystem. When we did our analyses and we studied, the entire space, one of the key findings was that this is an Achilles heel for the digital asset industry as a whole, because essentially you can have what is a very interesting platform, but the economics of the token just doesn't work. And so at one point or another, the entire system implodes. You can look at Terra Luna as an example. So instead of pursuing inflationary tokenomics, our approach was to implement deflationary tokenomics, where with every activity, every participation in a market, for example, there's some portion of the tokens that are being moved that are basically removed from circulation permanently. So in building that, it benefits, and implementing that, it benefits the overall community, because as there's more and more participation and involvement in the actual protocol, more and more tokens are being removed from circulation. So we don't do this, purely for price performance. Frankly, that's not that's not what we're focused on, since we're focused on building utility and building really something that's lasting in the space. But you can kind of think about the supply demand dynamics that creates. Just as there are more and more people who are basically looking for the token in order to participate in the platform, right? There's less and less available, so to speak. So now to bring it full circle to your original question, which was, are we the first Web3 project to implement this type of deflationary tokenomics? And I think the answer is yes, especially in a prediction market context. I think that we've created a really unique way to distribute, rewards internally in a very scalable way, and in a way that doesn't threaten the overall tokenomics and economics of the platform as a whole. That's point number one. And point number two is that we've managed to do this in a way that still generates lots of rewards and earning opportunities for users, and especially early adopters. So the answer to your question is yes. We think that we're really innovating in this space, and we kind of we're definitely looking forward to continuing to do that. So if this is the kind of thing that is interesting to you, definitely make sure to check out the FORE token before November 30th. Again, it's on MEXC and on Uniswap. So hopefully that answers the question. But Timothea or Andreas, if you guys have anything to add, I'll hand it over to you now.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it actually touches on the part of how I would respond to the next question. So I guess I'll just move into that, which is there are other decentralized prediction markets built on blockchain technology, such as Augur. How do you differentiate yourself from these? And as I mentioned previously, we have a ton of respect for Augur for their vision and what they achieved in a short span of time. But we have the benefit of being able to see what they did well and what they did what they didn't do so well. Um, a core part of that was the inflationary tokenomics. So Augur, for those unfamiliar, was a decentralized prediction market that launched sometime 2017 and gained a lot of traction around the US presidential elections. They were not able to sustain that activity because users, in order to validate markets, were staking their native token. But due to the inflationary tokenomics of the token, the value that they were accruing was decreasing over time. So ultimately, it got to a point where validating markets was no longer so financially viable, as the value of the token decreased so much in that time. And with participants no longer willing to validate payouts, the system collapsed. So we have worked tirelessly to really ensure the deflationary nature of FORE is not just arbitrarily determined by us as founders, but built into the protocol itself. And it's really simple. Activity on the platform increases, supply decreases. And there are several core functions that drive this, but really the deflationary element is built into every transaction on the protocol. 1% of every market is burnt. 100% of every NFT minted is burnt. Market creation fee, dispute fee, etc. So throughout the system, FORE tokens are being burnt, and this is to ensure the sustainability of the platform and ensure that there are opportunities for validators and other participants to generate income in a sustainable way. And in terms of other ways in which we differ from the Augur and other prediction markets in the space, I've obviously mentioned the poor user acquisition strategy previously, but I think another one is scalability. Really, Augur was built on Ethereum, and it's very difficult to create a platform, a predictions platform, which goal is to drive high levels of activity on such a congested network with high gas fees. So FORE is launching on Arbitrum for some of the lowest fees. We've already integrated Polygon, Phantom, and we will continue to integrate and roll out additional chains based on industry demand and user demand. And really, ultimately, our goal is to create cross-chain markets for users to participate in rather than just sort of siloed markets on different chains. So that's something that we really feel strongly about delivering on. Everything that we do, as we've said, is about driving value for users and ensuring that they can withdraw as much value from the platform as possible. A core part of that is ensuring low gas fees that don't eat into users' profits. And but another part as well is accessibility. The industry is still so siloed across different blockchains, but our goal is achieving adoption beyond the current DeFi space. And so in order to do that, we need to make sure that we have a system that can facilitate participation regardless of how the user wants to participate, what chain they want to participate on. So that's our ultimate goal.
Yeah, I think that's really well said there, Timothy. I don't think I have anything to add, and with 4 minutes left, I think let's maybe try to run through the lightning round for as many questions as possible. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Cool. Lightning round. um, there's one here on the audit. Mer, given you had an AMA with Hacken, the market leading auditor, just earlier this week, do you want to quickly jump on that one?
Yeah, no, I'm actually really happy to do that because security is something that we spent a lot of time and effort on. So again, to back up for those who maybe haven't been following our journey, from the start, but we've been working on developing the smart contracts and and the general application for FORE Predict for some time. But a really key aspect, not only in the design of the product, in terms of the logic and whatnot, but also in terms of the actual smart contracts themselves. The key priority was really around security. So how do we ensure that we design the best possible prediction market? It's problem number one. Problem number two is, how do we ensure that the code that we write is reflecting exactly what we wanted in point number one, right? So these are two almost distinct problems. So the first problem is the developing of the product, and that touches lots of different operational things in terms of recruiting a team, management of the team, project management overall, etc. And then finally, once all that is done, we worked with Hacken, who is a leader in Web3 smart contract security and audits overall, to conduct a very in-depth, months-long audit, where we went line by line, paragraph by paragraph in our documentation, really scrutinizing every aspect of the protocol. The general results were extremely positive. So, obviously, Hacken, given their expertise, had made some great suggestions in terms of ways that we can make, FORE as an ecosystem completely watertight, and ensuring that bad actors, always have a negative expected value, calculation. And I think that that's kind of a key aspect of the protocol overall, while making sure that users who do have the right intentions have the maximum reward opportunity. So all of these things, we worked with Hacken, and I think the upshot is we ended up with a fantastic score, not only in terms of code quality, but also in terms of code security. So that is certainly a process that I think we'll be working with the team at Hacken again as we begin to roll out additional features and future products. We'll definitely ensure that security is a top focus, and we work with our auditors to address any concerns or suggestions that they have. But overall, I think our score was 9.8 out of 10. 10 out of 10 really kind of across the board for most categories. So I definitely think users can feel comfortable, especially with that Hacken kind of seal of approval, that they're operating on a very secure and a platform that has prioritized security at every turn. Timothy or Andreas, if you have anything else to add, I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah, I'll just add that we, as we found out this week, received the highest security score, the highest audit score on Hacken. And given that they are the auditor with, some of the highest results in the industry overall, that was a huge accolade for us. And we received a 10 out of 10 security score and a 9.8 out of 10 overall score. So really, to reiterate Merv's point, really proud and glad to be working with the Hacken team, and this is something that we're going to continue to do, for as well as continual platform monitoring, also for every single new feature and deployment that comes next. So that remains to be a huge priority for us. So I think we can close out on that one, given that we are now just over time. So firstly, just want to thank everyone for your time and tuning in today. Really appreciate that you spent this hour listening to us and hearing about the future of FORE. As we've mentioned throughout this, next week is a huge milestone for us, and I'm really grateful that you're all here with us along for the ride. Would really love for everyone here to be getting involved in making markets and sharing markets and ultimately being able to generate income in an entirely new way, one that's different to the current space itself in the crypto space, but also the prediction space. As we've said, we have endeavored to build a platform that is focused on value creation for users and really aims to disrupt the landscape, to put the power in the hands of our users, really for the first time, at least in the predictions industry. So really proud of what we've achieved. Would love to not only get you guys onto the platform, but to hear your feedback and how we can do better and what features we need to be building next, because people powered means just that. It means that we want to know what you're looking for and how we can improve this experience for you. So if you are thinking of getting involved, some of you are already in the FORE community, but to those who are new, head to foreprotocol.io/mainnet. You'll be able to find out everything you can about FORE and how to use FORE itself ahead of the platform launch, as well as being able to take advantage of kind of early user incentive programs like a welcome bonus and things like that. So definitely check that out. If you're not already, of course, follow us on Twitter to stay up to date with any up and coming news, and join our social channels with any questions as well. So everything you can find in the link in our bio in Linktree. So thank you guys once again.
Also,
really appreciate
where can they find the token, Timothea?
They can find the token on MEXC and Uniswap. So to reiterate, that is FORE. Again, that can all be found in the link in our bio in Linktree. So thank you guys once again. Really appreciate all your time and look forward to seeing you in the next one and seeing you on FORE Predict on Thursday.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Talk
Thanks,
soon.
everyone. Bye.